Peace and darkness abundant. It's your favorite mystic, metaphysical, miracle coach, Deity, Princey. And I'm going to share with you the reason why you clicked on this video is because of this title. And as me being a therapist and going to school for clinical therapy, I graduated 2 years ago. I lived on campus during my last year of college, and after I graduated, I was just hit with narcissistic supervisors back to back. I'm like, wait, you're a narcissist. How are you a therapist? How are you working with children? So my question is, how do we end up in these situations?
Had to hop over fences and climb up the ladder to get what I want, bitch, I'm just getting better. They tried to tell me I would never be shit. Look at me now, body built like a brick. Sleep all you want, but I'm chasing my dreams. Everything I do is fucking supreme. Came from the hood, ain't shit sweet about me.
For me, I invested so much into my education. Being met with narcissistic supervisors, I felt so angry at the system because I'm like, I did exactly what you told me to do. And I just felt like, how can these type of people rise inside of these therapeutic environments? Because I was always drawn to psychology. With this being said, I felt like, how is this even possible for someone who can very much gaslight a person, make a person feel less than? How can a therapist have this role where they're still manipulating people for their own satisfaction? Being on the other side, I was that young child who was met with narcissistic healthcare workers, right? But being on the outside is different, because that was my whole reason to want to do psychology and help people. Because I'm like, I was fucked up as a child and I got met with horrible adults in this field. So I want to change it. And then being inside of it, me making a difference with my clients, but watching other therapists just be completely condescending, lacking empathy for children at that, it just baffled me. It confused me. I'm like, how? The system is literally failing us. And it's something they all just have in common. Narcissistic. And it's not even just with the clients, but it's also working with them inside of this type of role. They're all micromanaging, all of them. They want to micromanage your caseloads. They want to tell you how to do your job. And they act like they're just on this cloud, right? It took me some time. It took me some time to really go within. It drove me crazy for a while. I was lashing out. I was so angry because I'm like, these people are holding power over me. And then I realized that no one ever had power over me. See, narcissists have to work too. It's their job to obtain an income for their family, for their addictions, for their whatever the fuck they're doing. It's their fucking job. So in that space though, in that moment, I did not correlate the fact that this is my experience that I'm attracting. I'm attracting these experiences because there's still more deep-rooted work, shadow work, healing. My inner child still needs to go through different levels so I can fully ascend. I didn't realize that then though, because I'm like, come on, universe, come on. I had it hard my whole childhood. Now I'm finally about to graduate. Make it easy for me. Like, I did my part. Listen, I graduated summa cum laude, okay? I graduated summa cum laude. So I'm like, I know I deserve a better experience than this. But again, that's the things that we didn't face. I had ample enough time to face my narcissistic supervisor, to stand up for myself. That's all these experiences are teaching you. When you're met with constant frustration, when you're met with feeling like, why me, right? Instead of saying, why me, why not you? Why not me? I didn't see it then though. Like I said, then I was just more so angry because all I wanted was fucking housing. That put a fire under me. And now I see it as my initiation. Anything that we go through is your rite of passage. Anything that triggers you so fucking bad that makes you say, why me? Why? Why not? This is your rite of passage. It's time for you to ascend from this, master this, and you don't have to experience that anymore. So like I told you, narcissists, they have to work. It's up to us to do the inner work so we can avoid these type of interactions. It's up to us to do the inner work so we can be aware of when we're meeting this type of individual. And it's like oil and water. When you do your work, When you do the work, you're not going to mesh with other people anyway. The universe is not going to put you together because energy can only go where it's a vibrational match to it. So for me in that moment, I didn't ascend a lower part of myself that was still afraid to face and to face up to my egg donor. My supervisor was a reflection of my egg donor. But I wasn't consciously aware of this just because I'm like, oh yeah, she dark skinned gang, like we gonna be cool. I was so hyped thinking, wow, I know a black woman who's educated, who has these degrees and licensures, and I just was looking at the outside fact, right? That's exactly what trauma does to you as well. Trauma will make you be so materialized, and trauma will just make you be so shallow. Not shadow. Trauma will make you be so shallow. I was so shallow looking at this woman's credentials, not realizing that her energy and her spirit was a reflection of something my inner child was running from. But I just was like, oh no, she cool. We are responsible for the interactions that we have. I take full accountability, and that was 2 years ago. You heal, you do the work. 2 years later, I don't have these type of experiences because I've ascended even further into my own business. So I don't have to worry about having someone micromanage. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens when you heal. There is no more micromanaging. There is no more being met with a narcissistic boss or anything like that because they have to work too, whether it's a therapy job. So blaming a narcissist is basically the same thing as blaming a rattlesnake. Like, how can you be mad at something that's a shark? Okay, you can't get mad at a shark. If you go in the water and you start swimming and there's a big old shark coming, a big old gray white, you can't be like, you stupid gray white shark. The shark gonna be like, you came over here. Same with narcissists. You vibrated over here. Because like I said, when you heal and you level up, you don't vibrate to those type of people because it's going to be oil and water. It won't mix. You've already ascended those pathways in your mind. Your neuroscience, the pathways in your mind, your brain, your neurons, the things that wire together continue to grow together. But when you recreate these patterns, you're wired now on love. You're wired now on joy. You're not wired and turned on by dark energy. Turned on even with you unconsciously knowing. That's what magnetizing is. This is what a narcissist can magnetize people who are not healed. So I'm pulling you to me. For every seller, there's a buyer. That narcissistic therapist, she's a therapist, but the narcissistic supervisor that I had, she's going to continue to pull in more interns who are magnetized and not healed from that trauma. They're going to gravitate to her because for every seller, there is a buyer. We're all creators. And we all pull in. And that's why I told y'all yesterday, I made that post. You're magnetizing. Look at the things you're attracting to you. Okay, this is a reflection of, look at this beautiful baby. She's trying to go to sleep, so she over it. She wanted me to pick her up. But you are attracting these different experiences. So I just wanted to make this video quickly to let you know we cannot even blame the narcissist. We can't. We have to look at ourselves. And I say that to say this, you want to reflect on the patterns. What I just stated, reflect on these patterns. What am I doing that's causing this, right? I got to get out of this because it's not changing. So you have to look at the patterns and say, what is not working? What is not changing? I have to get out of this because no one's not going to get me out of this. And by you focusing on these patterns, you're focusing on your self-growth. You're doing a 2-in-1. You're looking at the patterns, but then you're actually focusing on growing. You're actually allowing yourself to say, what do I need to change to ascend, to transmute? Do these steps to help you. By doing these steps, you're going to build your self-worth, your confidence. That's all it is. The ego is nothing but that confidence. I have another video coming for that. Stay tuned. Your ego is your amigo because your ego, but you have to heal it first because if you don't heal the ego is like a wild, vicious tiger, okay? But when you heal that ego, it submits to you, and your ego is your amigo because that's how you speak. Your ego is your identity. So your spirituality is on your inside world, and your ego is now willing to express that and be that embodiment. So that's your confidence. You walk with confidence. You don't have to worry about certain things. The way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And I am having a healing sexual trauma mastermind. And even though this is about toxic bosses and things like that, but sexual trauma is not always something physically that happened to you. It can be passed down through that masculine and that feminine of your parental parents, of your parents basically. Everything I speak of always goes back to your parents. Every single thing. When you heal from your parents, you heal from their subconscious patterns, their imprints. When you can heal from the imprints that were put onto you, the programs, because every program you're living out has its own language. Every program has its own experience. So you're living out these things because of what you were taught. And I'm here to help you to transmute those things so you can step into your higher version. And if you want to join my class, the information is below. It's only $15.15 and it's on December 25th. I purposely chose this day so that way I can get those who are fucking serious and want to get this ball rolling. Now remember, stay rich and stay dangerous. And that's on period, abundant, peace and darkness to you. And I'll be back, period.
Sleep all you want, but I'm chasing my dreams. Everything I do is fucking supreme. Came from the hood, ain't shit sweet about me.